something unexpected is happening in Hollywood. A storm is quietly brewing not on screen but in the courtrooms. And at the center of this unfolding drama is none other than Blake Lively, a star known for her elegant public persona, iconic fashion sense, and charming film roles. But this time it's not about glamour red carpets or her next big movie. It's about legal action and content creators who are refusing to stay silent. In recent months, Blake Lively's legal team has been issuing subpoenas to small YouTubers and digital creators who made commentary videos or discussed topics related to her online presence. On the surface, it might appear like a celebrity defending her image, but beneath that, many are calling it an overreach, a calculated attempt to silence fair use commentary and criticism. And now the creators are pushing back, not just individually but collectively. A growing number of content creators are now teaming up to push for something bold: reimbursement for their legal expenses. They argue that these subpoenas weren't only unnecessary, they were designed to intimidate and financially strain them. And if that's proven in court, the consequences could be serious and expensive for Lively's side. So why is this such a big deal? Because in today's digital age, freedom of speech and fair use are essential to how creators operate online. Many rely on commentary, public court documents, and media analysis to inform and entertain their audiences. If celebrities can weaponize legal tools to silence creators even when no defamation or actual harm is proven, then the entire creator economy is at risk. This story isn't just about Blake Lively, it's about every person who's ever spoken truth to power, every YouTuber who's ever uploaded a video about a trending case, every podcaster who's dared to offer a different opinion. And now those voices are finding strength and unity. In this video, we're diving deep into the legal journey that has taken so many by surprise. We'll break down exactly what happened, what the subpoenas were really about, why creators are calling them sham legal moves, and how a rising coalition of voices is shifting the power dynamic in unexpected ways. Could Blake Lively actually be forced to cover legal fees for creators she subpoenaed? Could this set a precedent that ripples through the entertainment industry? And perhaps most importantly, will this entire ordeal backfire publicly? We're not here to attack, speculate, or sensationalize. We're here to present the facts, analyze the timeline, and let the audience decide with full respect for YouTube's policy and community guidelines. It all started when a few smaller YouTube creators noticed their inboxes had turned into legal battlegrounds. One by one, they began receiving official documents, subpoenas. These weren't cease and desist letters or copyright strikes. These were demands for information, personal data, IP addresses, emails, and more. Many were confused. Some were scared. And almost all of them shared a similar story. They had made commentary videos discussing public lawsuits, celebrity news, or high-profile online speculation. No private footage, no leaks, no false statements, just commentary. And then it became clear the subpoenas were linked to Blake Lively's legal team. Why? That's still a matter of ongoing debate. Some speculate it was an effort to track the source of a rumor. Others believe it was about creating a chilling effect, deterring creators from speaking about certain topics. But regardless of motive, the impact was immediate. The creators were now faced with expensive legal consultations, court appearances, and fears over whether their channels and livelihoods were at risk. But here's where things took a turn no one expected. Rather than retreat in silence, many of the creators began documenting their experiences. They uploaded videos explaining their legal situations. They talked to lawyers. They started organizing, connecting with other subpoenaed creators. And what emerged was something Blake Lively's team might not have anticipated: a network of creators banding together to protect their rights and their financial survival. Soon, legal crowdfunding initiatives began popping up. Some creators launched GoFundMe pages for legal aid, others opened legal defense funds. Audiences, seeing what they perceived as unfair targeting, began rallying around them. Hashtags started trending. And then a new legal strategy entered the conversation: fighting for reimbursement. Under U.S. law, if a party is found to have filed subpoenas in bad faith, or if the legal effort is deemed excessive, frivolous, or abusive, the other party may seek reimbursement for legal costs. That includes lawyer fees, court filing costs, and time lost. Now creators are officially pushing for that. Legal experts are weighing in, and some are even asking whether Blake Lively's legal team went too far and whether this could end up becoming a PR and legal headache for the actress herself. In fact, the term sham subpoenas has become a buzzword in this discussion. Not because a court has ruled them as such yet, but because many feel they were used not to advance a legitimate claim but to intimidate. And if that framing holds up in legal arguments, it could spell trouble for those who filed them. So what's next? Will creators be able to prove abusive process? Will the court step in to protect online commentators from legal overreach, and will Blake Lively, once considered one of Hollywood's most media-savvy stars, come to regret the legal decisions made on her behalf? As we move forward in this multi-part breakdown, we'll explore the most compelling moments from this case, the creators, responses, the legal filings, and what this means for the future of online speech. This is more than just a celebrity versus YouTuber headline. In a world where celebrity power meets digital influence, few stories capture attention. Like the current legal saga involving Blake Lively and a growing group of content creators, what started as what many believe to be an aggressive legal maneuver by Lively has now turned into a boiling point of resistance. YouTubers, commentators, and independent media voices are no longer standing alone, they're teaming up. And this isn't just about speech anymore, it's about reimbursement, it's about principle, and it's about justice. The story began quietly with rumors circulating that Blake Lively, through her legal team, had issued subpoenas to several content creators who had merely discussed or analyzed events surrounding her public persona. At first glance, the move seemed like a protective legal strategy, perhaps a way to control misinformation. But soon as the full picture came into view, many began calling out what appeared to be a strategic use of legal tools to intimidate smaller voices online. Content creators, some with large audiences and others just starting out, were name targeted and subpoenaed for their commentary. The reaction was swift, but not from Lively's camp, it came from the community. What was once an isolated wave of legal notices has now evolved into a potential class action effort. Many of these creators are pushing back, and they're asking the court not only to quash the subpoenas, but also to make Lively's team pay for the costs they've incurred while defending themselves. This is where things get serious, because now it's not just about the validity of the subpoenas, it's about who should bear the consequences of legal action that some say was unjustified. The legal community, media ethics observers, and free speech advocates are closely watching as this case unfolds. What does this mean for the future of commentary for YouTube voices and TikTok analysts? Could this set a precedent? Let's take a deep dive into how we got here, who's involved, what legal experts are saying, and where this could go next. Because whether you support Lively's right to protect her image or believe the creators were unfairly targeted, this case has sparked a conversation that's far bigger than Hollywood. The controversy centers around subpoenas issued to several online creators who discussed a high-profile case involving public figures, some tied directly or indirectly to Blake Lively. The creators didn't publish private documents, didn't leak sealed court papers, and didn't fabricate claims. Most simply provided commentary, reading publicly available information and offering their own interpretations, something that has been widely recognized as protected speech under U.S. law. So why the subpoenas? According to court filings and public statements, Blake Lively's legal team believed that these creators had access to or referenced private information that her attorneys claim was not meant to be shared. But here's where things start to break down. The creators in question have argued that everything they referenced was already in the public domain. They weren't insiders. They were readers, viewers, and commentators, people doing what so many others do on the internet every day. That's why so many found the subpoenas problematic. Critics argue they weren't issued to correct misinformation, but to silence, or at the very least, discourage further conversation. The creators targeted were not massive media corporations. They were independent voices, many operating with limited resources. Legal costs pile up quickly when you're served a subpoena, even if you've done nothing wrong. Hiring a lawyer to respond, filing motions to quash appearing in court. Legal experts have raised concerns about the chilling effect this kind of action can have. If large, well-funded individuals or entities can issue subpoenas to smaller creators simply for engaging in commentary, what happens to free discourse? What happens to accountability? And now the pushback is gaining momentum. A number of these creators are joining forces, filing motions not only to throw out the subpoenas, but also to request reimbursement. They're arguing that the subpoenas were not only baseless but were also issued in bad faith, a key factor in winning legal fees under existing laws. This collective action is turning the legal tide. Rather than feeling isolated or afraid, these creators are finding strength in unity. Their message is simple: if you're going to drag us into court without cause, then you should bear the financial responsibility, not us. The most powerful part of this unfolding drama is the unexpected unity it has sparked. Many of these content creators never knew each other before the subpoenas arrived. They worked in different corners of YouTube, covered different aspects of the case, and had different audiences. But now they're united, not just in their legal battle but in their message to the public and the court. This movement isn't about attacking a celebrity. It's about defending the rights of creators who operate in good faith. Legal commentators have noted that the growing coalition could significantly increase the pressure on Lively's legal team. The more creators that join the legal motion, the stronger their case becomes to show the pattern of unnecessary legal burden. Public support for the creators has also been growing. Fans and fellow influencers have begun highlighting the financial and emotional strain that such legal tactics can cause. Some viewers have started GoFundMe campaigns, others have offered free legal advice or even volunteered to amplify the voices of those affected. The creators, meanwhile, are documenting every step of their legal journey. They're using the very platforms they were criticized for to expose how difficult and expensive it is to fight even the simplest subpoena. And while they're not resorting to defamation or hate, they are asking serious questions. Why target small creators? Why not address the media outlets that originally published the same information? Why pursue legal action over public discussion? This transparency has earned them credibility, and as their legal arguments unfold, they're gaining support not only from fans, but from journalists, lawyers, and advocacy organizations. Some experts believe this could become a pivotal test case, especially if the court rules in favor of the creators and orders Lively's team to cover their legal costs. That ruling would be a game changer. It would send a clear message: if you're going to use legal power to control speech, you'd better make sure your case is airtight. Because if it's not, you might be the one footing the bill. This legal battle, while specific to a group of content creators and one high-profile celebrity, could have long-term implications for digital commentary. At the heart of this case lies a fundamental question: where do we draw the line between protecting reputation and suppressing speech? For creators, the fear is clear. If they can be subpoenaed, forced to spend thousands defending themselves, and have their privacy invaded for discussing public information, who's next? Could a review channel be sued for critiquing a film? Could a news analyst face subpoenas for commenting on a lawsuit? Could a true crime podcaster be dragged into court for theorizing on a case that's still open? The outcome of this case could help shape that future. If the court rules in favor of the content creators, especially with reimbursement of legal fees, it could set a precedent that discourages misuse of legal power. It would say legal action must be proportional, justified, and respectful of the public's right to discuss what's already public. But if the court sides with the celebrity, especially without requiring them to reimburse costs, it could have the opposite effect. It could encourage more high-profile figures to issue subpoenas preemptively, knowing that even if they don't win, they can exhaust the opposition. That's why this moment matters, not just for Blake Lively, not just for the YouTubers, but for every digital voice who relies on free access to information and the right to discuss it. Whether you agree with the commentary or not, the right to speak, analyze, and question is fundamental. As the legal process moves forward, Blake Lively may come to regret the path she took. Whether she genuinely believed these subpoenas were necessary or whether they were a calculated legal tactic, the backlash has been loud and persistent. What started as a few papers sent to small creators is now a major legal story, and one that could cost more than just money. It could cost public trust. Meanwhile, the content creators, once scattered, now unified, are proving that collective resistance can work. They're not backing down, and they're demanding that their legal expenses be covered. If the court agrees, it will be a watershed moment. A moment that reaffirms the right of every person, no matter how big or small their platform, to speak, analyze, and yes, criticize without fear of unjust legal retaliation. Blake Lively may have hoped these subpoenas would silence a few voices. Instead, she may have sparked a movement. And in doing so, she's shown just how powerful those voices can be when they come together.